fun facts are amazing. Oh yeah. So we got RP, we got Bacardi, Bob, and Carl. This is starting fast. How safe are EVs in crash test? You are here with myself, Piper, and
Sai.
Yeah, Sai is the amazing researcher that's going to be researching for all of these EV crash tests. Why? Because that is what we're talking about. We're talking about how safe are electric vehicles in crash tests. Let's start it off with the wonderful, most amazing question of all entire life. Have you been in a crash? And that can be EV, that can be like anything, like poll. Let's do a poll. Have you been in a crash? Have you survived a crash? I hope so. If not, you're only here in like... I mean, if not, I don't know. So have you been in a crash? That means in the car, out of the car, doesn't matter. Yes, no, and then Sai and I will tell you about our personal experiences so that we can get this party started. Have you ever been in a car crash? Now, you could have been like a pedestrian, a cyclist. We accept everything here right now. but yeah, it has...
Bus crash.
No, not bus crash. It has to be a car crash. If your bus crash, does not count. It needs to be a car crash. A crash.
That's a little...
Yeah, a crash. So you need to hit something else. Like if you hit a pigeon, I don't think it really works. Does it work, Sai? Do we allow pigeons?
No.
No pigeons. You have to be in a crash, a real crash with another car, a pole. It could be a barrier, a fence. I've seen some things, people. It could be another car. This one, another car, another pickup truck. Anything like that. So the thing is, some people have been in crashes. Why? Because there's so many vehicles on the roads. There are everywhere. If you are in rural areas, maybe even more than in urban areas, it's more dense, so you got like a lot of people. If you've ever been in Asia, Asia has a lot of crashes, and it is the number one, if you've been in Thailand, the number one cause of tourist injury is, these little scooters, these mopeds.
Also,
have you been on
just
one?
cross the road without there's no pedestrian crossing or lack of pedestrian crossing in a lot of Asian countries.
Yeah, they don't have that, right?
So they have to risk their life every time they have to cross the road, which is insane to me. I'll be dead on the first day.
You've been to Asia. So you were in Asia.
But I never crossed the road.
You never crossed the road?
I never crossed the road.
What did you do? You teleported
one time
on
there
the
was
other
a
side?
huge road in Thailand that I kept going on the sidewalk, and there was no pedestrian crossing, so I gave up and I went back to the subway. I didn't want to cross the road because how do you... People do it like this.
You have to be confident.
Yeah, I can't. I don't want to die in Thailand.
Yeah, this would be not cool.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that were in accidents in Thailand.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because when you go to Thailand and you rent one of these little electric, like a moped, How is it called in English? Like these little scooters, a Vespa.
Yeah, a Vespa.
It's a scooter? So these things. So you rent one like that, and then you definitely get hurt. This is gonna happen to you. It's not even. I'm not a medium or anything. I'm not putting money on this. But if you go to Thailand and you decide to rent a little scooter, you're like, yeah, we're gonna do tourist stuff. You will get hurt. Somebody's gonna hit you. You're gonna hit somebody. Something's gonna happen. The signals, like the traffic light signals, those are optionals over there. It's not. You don't need to respect them. Then of course there's police officers sometimes, which kind of help with circulation and traffic. But in general, it's just kind of free for all. And people are 6 people on one scooter, right, Sai? You've seen that, right?
Yes, a whole family with their 2-3 kids on a scooter.
Have you been on a scooter? When you were in Thailand?
Not in Thailand, but before in Canada, I've been in the back of the scooter.
How many people were on the scooter with you?
Just one other person.
Just one other person?
Yeah, but I want a motorbike more than that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the back.
Oh, wow. So this is interesting because I've been in Thailand. I was on a scooter with myself, and then I was on a scooter with 3 other people. So I've done it. It's dangerous. Don't do that.
No,
it's
freaks
very,
me out.
It's very, very scary. But the really cool thing about Thailandese people, and I've done it in Cambodia too, is that they're very small. So there's enough room, you know, for like 4 girls on a scooter. I don't say you should do it. And the helmet was not really a helmet. It was more like a cap with some sort of reinforcement to it, which is not really reinforcement. It's just like a mushy cap that you put on your head. And then you're like, okay, this is going to be great. So yes, we are talking about how safe are EVs in crashes. But to get to that subject, well, I wanted to bring you out to like these other countries which have vehicles, but they have a whole bunch of other types of vehicles. And when I went to Thailand, yes, I did ride. I did definitely ride on one of these scooters, and we were more than 2 people. No children, though. I mean, I wouldn't risk the life of a child on there because they can't really do anything. As an adult, you make a conscious choice of going on that scooter with 3 other people. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So that happened to me. I did it with 3 other girls, and then I did it with 2 guys that one time, too. Don't ask me more. We're talking about electric scooters, right? Okay. Hack of all trades says, hello, Hack of all trades. Carl says, I just realized that I've never been to Thailand. Don't worry, you can remedy that anytime. Just buy plane tickets. François Zibedin says, I was in a traffic jam when another car rear-ended my Ford Escort. Well, maybe she wanted to escort you, you know? Wrapping the trunk shut. The insurance deemed it was total loss and gave me $4,000, but a mechanic fixed it with just 2 hammer blows. Well, that's good then. I mean, if your insurance kind of paid for it and you did not have to do anything else, that sounds like something cool. Hey, Mystique7, thank you for tuning in. If you're just dropping in, this is While You Wait for your electric vehicle to charge. We bring you super interesting information about electric vehicles in general, the future, and sometimes some bit of a debate. How safe are EVs in crashes? What's an EV? An electric vehicle. So how safe really are EVs in crashes? Because this is something that we get often on the YouTube channel, 2 girls, 1 electric car, and that is EVs are super dangerous, they're gonna explode. What about the battery? If it explodes, how does it happen and all that? That's why we decided to do this podcast, to, well, kind of clear some air, like evade some of the myths and rumors around electric vehicles and crashes. And we thought that we would just start this with all of your, trauma being in car crashes, because it has happened to a lot of people. I think everybody knows somebody who's been in a car crash. Now, I'm not saying that they were severely injured or anything like that, but it happens. If you are a person in 2024 and you do live where there are cars, it has happened to you. You know somebody who knows somebody. I mean, I've been in a few crashes, but nothing serious.
This is not good. I've been in a few.
But in a few, it has happened to me. But it's not like some of them were my fault. Some of them were not my fault. I mean, when I was first learning how to drive, I did not have my full driver's license. I backed up, and instead of like pressing the brake pedal, I pressed like the gas pedal, so that just like really, really dented the other car, like literally the whole thing. And then I was so stressed that I did it again. So you try to brake again. Nope. Press the accelerator twice. The whole door was just like slammed in. That cost a good $700. Yeah, that happened. And then when I was on the highway, and when you're on the highway and then suddenly there's like a traffic jam, so everybody brakes real fast. And so I brake, I hit the brakes, and I was like, oh my God, either I run into the person in front of me or they run into me. Like, it's one or the other. You're like, there's not enough space here, so this is gonna happen. Do I get rear-ended or I rear-end somebody else? This is tough choices. I decided that I was gonna get rear-ended. Why? Because I had a ball. I had a hitch on the back of my car. I had the Chevy Volt back then, and I had a hitch in the back. So I was like, well, maybe like the hitch is gonna, do a little bit of like the stopping, because like at least a good 8 inches out of the trunk. So it's like if my actual hitch like takes that person out a little bit, there's less chances of me hurting the car. And actually, yeah, nothing happened. Like nothing crazy happened. So that guy just came in my rear end. We went on the side. Well, fender bender, because we were in traffic.
Sure.
Yeah, and then so I braked and he braked, but he was looking at I don't know what, so he did not brake fast enough, and it was so tight that it's just like.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I love this story.
Yeah. So that's happened. So we fender bendered. So we went on the side and I looked at everything. And good thing I had the hitch there, because there was like no dent on my car. Not whatsoever. And his car neither. Just hit the bumper. That's it. So it was all fine. See? Good story, bro. If you have other crash stories, please do share them. So I've never been in a crazy bad accident. Nothing that has like crashed and like really intense. Like one day coming back from school, like the car caught fire. That happened.
What?
Yeah, I had great parents, right?
Wow.
So we were just coming back from school. I think I was like 10 years old. And then driving up that little hill to get to like the house. And just like flames were coming out of like the front. Like literally the engine, like flames were coming out. Like real flames. Real fire. And he just kind of drove to the house. Like chill. You know, marijuana does great things to your brain. So everything was relaxed. I was not relaxed. I was only 10 years old. I was like, we're gonna explode. I didn't even explode. There's literally fire coming out of the engine and the car did not explode. It actually kind of stopped. I mean, it just stopped and then it was fine.
Is in the back.
Yeah.
It didn't reach yet.
Yeah, it didn't reach yet. So we were great. I'm still alive to tell the story. Well, yeah, we still, I don't know. So we just drove it home and then, I don't know, the
Then
fire.
it exploded?
No, it didn't even explode. We left it in the driveway, went inside, and it was fine. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah, it was great. I don't know. It was like,
It's like let's ignore the problem.
let's
It'll go
ignore
away.
the fire coming out of the engine, and maybe it's gonna go away, right?
Yeah, it'll just go away on its own. No one's paying attention. I'll just go.
Yeah, it's gonna go, and it did kind of go away. The fire stopped. So that was a Honda Civic. For those of you who are wondering, don't buy that car. I mean, it was old. It was already really old. I mean, I was young, but it was old, and the fire kind of resumed not doing anything. And then I don't know what we did with that car. I was very young. I have no idea. But that's kind of like the worst that happened to me as in terms of car crash. Howie adds interesting car fire fact. Report from Auto Insurance EX said EV exhibited 61 times fewer fires per 100,000 sales than ICE vehicles, meaning that EVs are less likely to catch fire than gas vehicles, which is very, very interesting, right? Yeah, I like these facts. I love these facts. I'm Piper, and I'm with
Sigh.
And we are here on Two Girls, One Electric Car to bring you EV information while you wait for your electric vehicle to charge. Oh yeah! I know, you're super happy. Bacardi Bob says he hit a deer at 75 miles per hour going uphill. Oh, that must have been intense. That's sad for the deer because you can't really eat it after you hit it. That's the problem with roadkill. Sometimes it's like it opens all the organs.
Yeah, that's the only problem.
Yeah, that's the problem. You can't eat it. It's
That's
dangerous.
True. But no one wants to eat a ferret anyway.
No, but you know, a bigger one.
A bigger, like, a deer.
Yeah.
But why can't you eat it though?
Because the organ explodes, it contaminates the meat.
Oh, that's disgusting.
In general, if you hit in the head, you're fine. You can eat it.
Oh, okay, so you have to be precise the way
Yeah,
we
you
hit
have to
it.
be precise about the hitting.
That's does it consider murder then if we do too
Well, it's
precise?
considered hunting with a car, right?
It's a murder.
Yeah, but it's an animal. Doesn't count. Doesn't count. You need to eat. So, Bacardi Bob, are you okay? Like, how was this experience traumatizing? How did it leave you? Like, it's Bacardi Bob versus the deer. I hope it wasn't Rudolph, because that year must have been really bad for Santa. I mean, that year was...
Santa didn't last.
Yeah, that's the year Santa did not go to your place. That's that year.
You still have nightmare about it.
Yeah, definitely nightmares. I mean, definitely. So, Mystique 7, did you just call the engine bay a frunk? Yeah, because in an EV, it's called a frunk. There's no engine there. So, now that I'm an EV person, because I own a Tesla Model X with doors that open like this, not like this. Falcon doors, yeah? Oh my god, Bacardi Bob, you got like literal brain damage for that? Imagine the deer. Imagine the deer. Oh, I'm sorry about that. I mean, it's true that when you get in car crashes, well, you can get injured and severely injured. And that is why you want to choose a vehicle which gives you the more safety.
Imagine hitting a moose.
Oh, mooses are like huge. Have you ever seen a moose in real life?
Exactly, you'll die. Like you'll be like
there's more
paralyzed.
chances.
Yeah.
You know why they say that there's more chances of you like not making it with a moose than a deer?
Why?
It's because they're higher on their legs, so when you hit them, they literally come in your dashboard and
they
hit
get
you.
pissed off. They get like really pissed off.
Yeah,
like,
they do.
Bro, I didn't see you. Can't we be friends?
But you know that there's a trick because they're really dumb.
Oh.
So they get pissed off, they're really dumb. So the trick I learned because I lived in the woods when I was a child. And so to make sure that I did not like, go in the woods and bring a moose back home, that would have been really bad. So I got told that what you need to do is you turn around the tree. And then the moose is kind of like Dory from Nemo. So it's going to forget that it was kind of hunting you. And it's going to leave.
Oh, what was I doing here?
Exactly. Where's that child that was trying to like hit with my super big moose attitude? Yeah, so that's what I learned. You need to like go around the tree because they're really, really tall. It's like a horse, that thing.
Wow.
It's big. Yeah. So next time you see a moose in the forest, try that. I'm not responsible for whatever happens to you. This is a disclosure. Carl says Mazda, my personal favorite weapon of choice for deer hunting. So your Mazda, Carl, your Mazda is what you use to go hunting. Do you only use it in the fall, or are you a spring type of guy? I mean, that's the thing with hunting, right? There's some special seasons you need to go hunt to. Depends on your country and all that. So this is great. We're going a little bit off of subject, but I'm liking it, so it's fine. The deer got brain damage too. See, everybody does it. Carl says my sister hit a cow on the highway. The car was not a week old yet. The car or the cow? I mean, this is a cow. This is a huge mammal to hit. Like, imagine hitting a cow. I'm guessing though great ground meat, right?
Remember the cow that escaped in Quebec?
Yeah, so there was like a whole bunch of cows in the summer in Quebec. I think it was like 2 years ago. They escaped. Yeah, they just escaped from their pâturage they were in, these cows, and they couldn't figure out a way to bring them back. So they were like hanging out in this town, eating the corn and all the fields, and they even hired some cowboys. Yeah, it was a true story, bro. They hired some, you can Google it. They hired some cowboys to try to like get these cows back into like these places. And the mayor was a woman, and she was like, you know what, maybe we just leave the cow there. It's like they're not hurting everybody or anybody, so it's fine. But the problem was they were eating all of these I guess agricultural things. So all of the farmers in the area had cows eating all their stuff, and then there was a problem with traffic because the cows would just stay in the middle of the road. Oh my god. So this is what happened with the cows. But don't worry, in the end, they figured out how to get the cows back. Yeah, and it was not the cowboys who did it, just so you know.
That story to Herman, a chicken run guy.
The guys who do like chicken run and like, I can't wait to listen to the new one. We are talking about how safe are EVs in crashes. So far, nobody has crashed with an EV. Everybody has crashed with like a gas vehicle, probably because, yes, gas vehicles were around for longer. So we all have a bit more experience driving gas vehicles than EVs, depending on your age, of course. Now, the thing is, we are going to talk about EVs and crash and safety tests. So what do we know about, well, just how to know if a car is safe or not? Let's start with that. Let's not start with electric vehicles. So let's bring it home later. That's an no idea what Hack of All Trades is saying, but this is fine. Oh, the Mazda is year-round. Well, okay, Mazda is year-round. Yeah. So you can go deer hunting year-round with your Mazda. Because you don't need a permit, right? It's a special permit. It's the Mazda permit. You get the Mazda permit, you can go deer hunting. Now, you told us, zoom. That was a great ad. That was a great, Mazda had a great ad. In French, it's vroom, 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 because, it seems like the sounds is not the same as in English and in French. They're just not.
Yeah, so, even the laugh is different. Like, it's not ha-ha, it's ho-ho-ho-ho.
But in English? Or
no,
in
in French. Like, even in their laugh, they think they're better than you.
Really? Really? The French laugh better?
Yeah, French people think they're better. Even they can't laugh like normal with the
Okay, great. This is good to know. So zoom was the Mazda ad. It was a great ad. I love that ad. It was like running all through my childhood, I think. I don't know, is it still running? Probably. So I'll say for EVs and crashes, let's get to just like what a crash is and how can we see if a crash is safe or not. So, I've seen this video. It's been on the internet. And I mean, I know we don't have all the same feed, okay? I know. But it's like this video where there are some vehicles and then this vehicle just hits like a wall, like a concrete wall, a brick wall. And then it tells you the make and model of the vehicle and it tells you how fast they're going. And then it gives you like the damage of the vehicle. But you know what? I have a theory about this video. I mean, I'm pretty sure this video is not true. I'm pretty sure it's like a video game or a simulator, because if you look closely at that video, and I'm sure you've seen it on the internet, I'm sure I'm not the only one who has seen this video. It's a vertical video too. So like it's like all of these. I think there's a Mazda there. There's a Land Rover, and then they just hit this concrete wall. They tell you how fast they're going, and you can see like how crushed the vehicle is. So some of them is like it only hits the front, and then it crushes, but you can feel like, oh yeah, driver's still gonna be alive. But then other ones they hit. And then for sure nobody's alive. Like it becomes like a thin Oreo. Not even the normal size Oreo. Like a thin Oreo. Like the whole vehicle is just squished. So that I've seen this, but again, you need to be made aware of what you see on the internet. All of these crash tests, some of them are not true. Some of them are like video games or simulators, like literal AI or I don't know, car company simulators. They're not true. You need to see the real thing. It needs to be a real car crashing into real stuff. For it to be real, for it to be like really real. So Walter Johnson, thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you to everybody who's here. Make sure that you sign up for our Patreon, patreon.com/2girls1electric-car. There's a free patronage that you can take until you have the $297 USD to pay for our 1 hour of our charging, so that we can go places. Yes, and we can bring you back all of this information that we've traveled it. Super cool. So this is really intense, and this is a great podcast because while you wait for your electric vehicle to charge or for your insurance to pay off for that crash you were in, well, you can listen to the podcast. Super easy. Just go to YouTube, click that podcast playlist which has the same name, while you wait. So we are already getting some people that are telling us things. Okay, so we're gonna get there. So the thing is, it's great to see this crash in the little video that I was telling you about. You see them crash, and then you see how crazy they crash. But the most important thing is mostly like the passenger in the car. Are they okay? This is what we do crash tests for. It's for the dummies, people. It's for the dummies. We don't care about if like your car is gonna be okay. We care, are you gonna be okay? This is the whole point of crash tests.
For me, a crash is when your bags explode.
Okay, so for you, a crash is when the airbags deploy. Yeah. Sai, how would you define that?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. No. But it's also, isn't it true that the airbag itself can also like break your face?
Yeah, it can break your face.
Right?
But in more cases, you're gonna be better with
there's more cases of your face breaking in a good way with the airbag than your face breaking in a bad way without the airbag.
Yeah, like unfixable breaking.
Exactly. Some people break their nose and things like that. The thing I've heard is that, not heard, but if you read carefully on your vehicle, you should never put a child in the front seat.
Yeah, that's true. You can't.
You can't. You're supposed to be like 12 years and older. And if
the airbag doesn't go that low, right?
Well,
also, you don't want it to squish the baby.
It's more because like it's gonna really squish them hard.
It's gonna be
because it deploys in your face. So a child might get like more injury from the airbag if it deploys in their face. So that's why there are some safety precautions, and they've tested it with dummies and maybe a few crazy people, I don't know, that were like, yeah, I feel like testing this. I mean, we've all seen YouTube, so I think we don't judge. It's fine. If you want to test your airbags, you test your airbags. But there are some safety features on cars, and these safety features are not just to preserve the vehicle, they're most likely to preserve you. So what are these safety features? Because how safe are EV in crashes? Well, we just need to kind of figure out all of these safety features and see which ones are related to all vehicles and which one would be more related to electric vehicles. So this is what we're going to talk about. Let's get the ball rolling. Yeah! This is awesome. Okay, what have we got in a car in general? We got seat belts, right? We have seat belts. Everybody has seat belts. It's like the law. It's the law. We did a podcast when we talked about it. Some states, you don't need to wear seat belts. Other states, you have to be 16 and older to decide to wear it or not.
Thank you, Arkham Cena.
Yeah, thank you too. I think it was like in the US, like in the beautiful New Hampshire, live free or die. Yeah, that one. So you could not wear seatbelts in the back seat if you were 16 and over. So some of these laws like that do exist. Seat belts are definitely a great feature. Again, seat belts will make you bruise, but you being ejected from the car will make you bruise a lot more, just so you know. So I would definitely wear the seat belt all the way. Yeah, all the way. And plus, I like to be tied down. It's kind of reassuring, right? Sai, don't you agree?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That is true. Like, it will save you.
It will save
from,
you.
A
If
lot
not,
of
people
things.
would not be like, put your seatbelt on. They would be like, don't put your seatbelt.
Yeah. The worst is when the Uber driver says, put the seatbelt on. I'm like, I'm in the back seat. It doesn't occur to me to wear a seatbelt there.
So you should wear a seatbelt always. You want to live, right?
Debatable.
Yes. Live free and prosper. Live free and prosper.
Yeah, yes.
So you need to literally put your seatbelt on even if you're in the back seat.
My mother didn't believe in seatbelts.
Yeah, a lot of people in the 70s did not believe in seatbelts because it was a new occurrence.
Because if she go into water,
Yeah, some people were really scared that if they went into water, the seatbelt would get jammed and then they would stay stuck. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna roll in the winter with my windows open in case I get in water so that I don't have to break the window. Same thing. Super cool. I mean, there's something for everybody. So how safe are EVs in crashes? So EVs do have seatbelts, like every other vehicle on the road right now. And it's except if you have like an antique, a vintage, or a classic, then different rules apply. But you need a different license for that and the little license plate and all that. This is completely different. Okay, let's move on to the next thing. Well, airbags. Airbags. Like most vehicles now have airbags. Yeah, they do. They have some in the front, in the back. They have some everywhere. It's like, it's just gonna airbag. And I've seen this video. Yeah, true story. It was on the internet. I've seen this video where this guy like literally hits a semi, like those huge van trucks, and then he goes underneath. But so there's some other guys that come in and are like, wow, and you know, testosterone and like adrenaline. So they take off the door and they like try to go save that guy that's underneath there because they think maybe he's still alive for some reason, which is great that they went and found him. So they take off the door, they do all of that. And then because of the way the airbags were, it kind of mushed the guy in. So it was like into this like fluffy cloud of airbags and he was okay. Like literally, I'm not sure if there was more people in the car, they would have been okay. But that was like a crazy video, and I've seen it a lot of reposts on Reddit, so I'm sure some of you have seen that video too. So airbags are there, yes, to save you from hitting things like the dashboard and stuff like that, but also to create a cushion around you to preserve you, a bit like in Amber if you watch Fringe. Same thing. Like same thing. So they're there like to keep you encapsulated in case. But the problem with that is, yeah, you need this airbags to deflate at one point because it's an airbag, you know. So it kind of morphs into your face and all of that. So you need people to like get there. So if you see an accident and like you don't know if the person's okay, yes, call 911 first, but then like try to see if you can help the person in a way. I mean, just don't just look and watch. I mean, don't get your phone out and film.
all for airbags.
All for airbags. So far we're for airbags. Everybody's for airbags.
Yeah.
Sai, you for airbags?
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's for airbags.
Yeah, I want that.
I think airbags are a great thing, or else they would have discontinued them. They've been like, you know what? Airbags are not great.
So far, it is.
So far, so good. So far, so good. Airbags have been doing a great job saving people every single day. Then, okay, so there are other safety features that have been inputted in the car, and the dummies are really happy about that. Because those dummies, what? Yeah, like Giselle, just like Giselle. Those dummies are really happy about these safety features. So the thing is, well, to test all of these safety features, like the seatbelt, the airbags, well, you need dummies. You need like some type of humanoid person that's gonna react to that impact. So they made dummies, and on these dummies, there's like a whole bunch of points, special points. And that's how they evaluate the crash, to see how did the dummy perform. Like, is the dummy missing things? That it has internal organ damages? That it have head damages? Is it missing an arm? Yeah, because that's something you don't want for a dummy. So they put the dummy in the cars and they evaluate after that the dummy. Sometimes they even paint like the dummy and things like that to see where their head is gonna go or where where they're gonna, not, hit things. So this is dummies in EV cars and in, normal gas vehicles too. So the crash tests are kind of the same for everybody. Then there are other features that are more specific to some type of vehicles, because seatbelts and airbags, if you have a 2024 car in Canada, you have to have that. There's no way you don't have seatbelts or airbags. You don't not have them. But then there are other features. Other features that a car can have that would result in less crashes or minimize impact of the crash. And that would be like security braking. Some vehicles, if they sense you're in an accident, like the Tesla, it's gonna brake for you. It's just gonna hit the brakes. If it hits the brake, it hits the brake for you. So it sees that there's something in front, it auto brakes. You should brake and you should not wait for that to engage, but it's gonna brake for you. So it has this kind of collision detection thing, which makes your insurance go lower. Of course, you're paying your premium of that car probably, but that's gonna happen. And then there's also this line detection. So if there's a line, or if you're too close to, let's say, a barrier or something like that, which can happen on a bridge or at an intersection, it's gonna give a little jerk of the steering wheel so that you don't hit it in that sense. So that's another thing you need to literally consider when considering crashes and how well EVs perform versus other vehicles in crashes. It's all the same for everybody in that sense. Now we have in the comment section, Bacardi Bob says EVs weigh more. We're gonna drive right there. We're gonna drive there. EV. We're gonna drive there. How safe are EVs in crashes? Seatbelts and airbag better work. I think that's the brain of the car though. If you are in a crash, these things just automatically, airbags automatically deploy. That's a thing. And then, there's other features, you can call for assistance and things like that. Then, Piper, you are right about the kids. Yeah, I know I am. I was a kid and I was freaked out of sitting in the front seat until I was 12. Then I was like, shotgun. This is my spot now. Nobody's gonna take my spot. Don't drink and drive. Yeah, no, definitely not. This never recommended, whatever that is. I have heard EV fires are a lot harder to extinguish due to the battery chemicals. That's very, very interesting. Okay, buy a helmet and face protector. Well, usually if you're in your vehicle, it's not like you go on a NASCAR track. You don't need to wear a helmet and protection right side. We're not gonna invest in protectors. Every time we're going to Tesla Model X, we're just gonna be there with our helmet, mouthpiece.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be too much.
That's too much for you?
It's not a good look.
No, size not good look, not cool for pictures, Piper. We're not doing this. Okay, so let's get right into these statistics. Because I know this is what you want to hear. Yeah. You're like, oh yeah, we want the stats. We want to know all of these crazy things because we've been receiving some comments. So are EVs really safer in crashes? Do they burn when they crash? All of these things. Sai is gonna give us a few stats, one at a time. Don't worry, people. We're not gonna throw it all at you. So EVs and cars, they are being tested. Every car that goes on the road is being tested in crash tests. They have to pass these tests. They have to. If they don't go on the actual roads. I mean, it's like that in Canada and USA. So you have NHTSA, which is one of the organizations that kind of does these tests. And then you have IIHS. So you tell us if you know of other organization, or sometimes there's even private companies that are going to go and test things with the cars. Even some YouTubers that are super happy to do that for you. They will crash the car just to know how it reacts, and they will test it. They're like the Tim Ferrisses of YouTube. They just go there, get there. I mean, and they crash their car. Some people crash their cars to see if the iPhone would really call the police when in a crash, because the iPhone just released about a year ago this feature on Apple Watches and iPhones that would make it so that if you are in a car crash, it's going to detect it and it's going to call the emergency, because there's an emergency button. EV's car don't explode, right? Just like regular cars. Well, we're gonna get there. Sai, have you found a stat that we can talk about to appease all of the people that are freaking out on stats?
Yeah, I'm just I found a stat on how many we're going there. Okay, so how do you evaluate a crash? We talked about this a little bit. Some people say airbags deployment. Of course, if the airbags deploy, it's a crash. It's a legit crash. I got something.
You got something? Okay, give it to me, Sai.
Oh my God. According to one study,
Yeah.
most the fatal car crashes involving fire usually it's like 4.4 is like percent is ICE cars,
Okay.
and 2.6 is hybrid car. So EV are not even in there.
Not yet
So,
in
you know,
there.
No,
in
because
that statistic.
because it's the rare. It's the rare.
Occurrence.
It's very rare for EVs to catch fire and kill you.
Okay. So it is rarer for EVs to catch
I'm
fire
great,
and kill you.
by the way. Yes, thank you.
Yeah, and Asai is really scared about that, so she does the research for her. Don't worry. You know you're really good at something when you're doing it for you. Well, that's what she's doing. For some reason, she's really scared of fires, but not of not wearing her seatbelt. So just I don't know.
I don't know.
Humans are so contradictory. All right. Now, crash test. How do you measure a crash test? There's a few things you need to count in. Yeah, I know you're there. While you wait for your crash test to be over, you listen to While You Wait, the podcast that brings you electric vehicle entertainment and sometimes some really crazy stats and fun facts about vehicles in general. Of course, always with the agenda of converting you to electric vehicles. But you didn't hear this here. Perfect. How safe are EVs in crashes? What is a crash? So when they calibrate or measure the crash, they measure like frontal crash, meaning, well, you crash in the front. So you hit something with your front, like your front. For an EV, that would be the front trunk. So you hit something, you measure that. Then, okay, there's also the side. So you want the kids in the back to be okay. Or your friends. I mean, I don't know, it depends. Some people prefer not, but let's just say that you assume that you love them and you want them to live. So they're gonna also test for the sides. So they're gonna hit sides and they're gonna make sure that like poles hit the sides and a semi hits the sides and all these things. And then of course you're gonna do the back. You're gonna need to test the back.
That hurts.
And the back hurts more, right? Yeah. I'm a backdoor man. And for those of you who don't know, this is a really interesting one. There's the rollover test. Yeah, so they don't just measure like if you get hit or if you hit something, but what happens if, let's say, there is something on the road and you were to roll over. And if you have been in a convertible, well, there's something you kind of think about. You know, when you're a kid and you look at the convertible, you're like, what's my head gonna look like on the concrete pavement? Because like it could, you know, like get a little haircut there, you know, a little buzz cut. If it just starts sliding. So they needed to implement things so that if you had a convertible or a Jeep or anything that had open top, well, to put some safety there. Because you know, you're like, yeah, I'm just riding in that car, and so I don't need nothing on my head. But what if it flips over? It needs to be strong enough so that your head will stay not on the pavement and will stay in the car, and that the car is robust enough when it's flipped over to make sure that it doesn't crush you and it doesn't like do the reverse effect. Yeah, so there are some alloy there. There's like a sort of cage in the car that protects you in that sense. And if you disagree, please make sure that you fight with me in the live comment section, because the live comment section is going off super lively. This show is broadcasted live from Monday to Friday at 12 p.m. Vancouver time. Make sure you're there in the live format. Always more entertaining.
I want another poll.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, you're gonna end that one. That's fine.
Yeah, let's end this poll.
Is 1950s car more safe?
Oh, it's a good one.
Be cool.
Yeah. Okay. So have you been in a car crash? 70% of our audience has been in a car crash, and
Driver.
20. Okay, you all heard that. Some of us are bad drivers. And then 29% have not been in a car crash. Good for you. Good for you. So start a poll. Do you believe in miracles? Do you believe that 50s cars are safer than 2024 cars?
Big, and you need to. Can you put just
Huh?
big car? And you
But big cars, because that could be anything. So it's better if we put a date.
Okay, cool.
So 60s, 70s, 50s, which one do you want?
Which one?
50s, I put 50s.
50s.
Yes,
No.
no. Let's start this poll. So that being said, okay, we have a new poll. Do you believe that the 50s cars are safer than 2024 cars? This is going to be quite interesting because we're talking about how safe are EVs in crashes compared, of course, to other vehicles.
On Google, it seems like you said before as well, you can literally find an article that proves your point.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening to me. It's like, yeah, it's like so much. No, it's not. Yeah. Listen, it depends on who's paying for the research.
Yeah.
But I feel like overall, definitely electric cars have less issues with crashes and like other causes of destruction. You know?
Yeah, that's good. We don't want that much destruction in the world, right?
Yeah.
So just find the articles that suit you and us.
Yeah. So I have some data that suits.
Yeah, just find me another one so that we can incorporate it, and it's gonna be fine. Okay. Now, the rollover test. So we're talking about this, the rollover test. And I talked about this in a previous podcast, but if you weren't there, I'm going to repeat it because, I mean, we got new people here every single day. So thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget that you can subscribe to the channel by clicking that subscribe button. It's totally free. What? One of the last things that is totally free and that makes girls happy. That is subscribing. Subscribe to 2 Girls, 1 Electric Car right now. Thank you so much for your subscription. So, rollover test. Did you know that the Tesla Model X is one of the only SUV that passed the rollover test? Piper, how did it do that? Well, that's the thing. Well, like, I think it's Walter Johnson who said that. Yeah, so we got people in the live comment section that said it. EVs are heavy. Yeah, they are. And we're going to dive deeper into that one a little bit later throughout the podcast. But they're heavier, meaning that their center of gravity is super low. And so the thing is, with most SUVs, the problem is SUVs are high. And then the engine is kind of, in the front. Yeah, of the car. Of course, there's other stuff, transmission and all that. And then there's a gas tank in the back. And there's still things there. But it's just the center of gravity of a gas vehicle is a bit not necessarily in the middle of it and is not weighing that much in the middle, lower part of it. Okay? So, the Tesla Model X has the huge battery pack that is all over the lower frame of it. Like, it's all underneath. It's not in the front. It's not in the back. It's all on the, the floor of the car, pretty much. And that makes it so it doesn't want to roll over. You try to roll over a Tesla. So what they did, I saw this on the internet. So you Google it, you find it. The thing is, so there was a sand pit, because it's easier to roll over in a sand pit for some reason. I mean, I kind of get it. It's kind of slippery in a way. So the Tesla comes in, and then it's bricks. And then it kind of it tilts. So you see it tilt. So it's only on 2 wheels, 2 wheels horizontal. And then it comes back down because it's so heavy that it just wants to come back down. It doesn't want to tilt. But if you have other SUVs, usually they will tilt. What happens when they tilt and they roll over? Well, it's super dangerous because usually people get ejected. So when it starts rolling, like in the F1, or in like in NASCAR, when it starts rolling really, really fast, you got like this centrifuge motion. And then you get ejected. And there's more chances of you dying when you get ejected from the vehicle. From you being ejected, from you being rolled over by other vehicles on the road, from you hitting something when you get ejected. So the main thing is for you not to get ejected. So the rollover test was passed by the exact thing. Now, Electric Brian says the Model Y, this Tesla, is the same weight as the Porsche Macan. Yeah, but is the weight in the same places? That's what's really interesting, because with a battery, the weight is not at the same place as a gas vehicle. Weight is not spread the same way in an EV than it is in an ICE vehicle. So their center of gravity will not be the same, meaning that they will not roll over the same. They will not perform the same. It's like if you take somebody that's same weight, but one of them is really small, really short, and the other one is really tall, but it's still same weight. One of them is gonna roll over faster than the other one. I'm telling you, you give one of them a push, one of them is gonna roll over faster. They might be the same weight, they're not the same height, their center of gravity is just not the same. It cannot be compared just for weight. Yeah.
Think about you or your partner.
Yeah, think about you or your partner. Exactly. Not the same. Not the same.
Oh, I found something. It's not exactly data, but it's interesting that according to this one study,
It's good. One study. I mean, we're being very politically correct here, people.
According to one study,
This one study.
they found that people who drive like an electric vehicle, who also drive a gas vehicle, they tend to be more aggressive drivers when they're driving an EV.
What?
But at the same time, they found that when driving an EV, they're 50% less likely to crash with a Tesla than with a gas car, which is interesting.
This is interesting.
Yeah.
So being more maybe assertive in that way makes you crash less?
I don't know. They accelerate more aggressively in a Tesla.
Of course you accelerate more. Yeah, you have to accelerate more. You have instant torque. I mean,
I don't know. Is that a rumor? Because I've never.
Yeah, we're gonna need to test that.
We need to film her.
Yeah, we need to film her. It's in the project. It's in Notion. We're gonna get there. Okay.
I did a fact. Awesome.
Yeah, you did. You wanna clap? I'll give you a clap. Yeah! I'm Piper, and this is
Sai.
And we are here on the podcast that's called While You Wait, because while you wait for electric vehicle to not crash, and to charge up, we are here to entertain you and to give you some electric vehicle information or just entertainment. Doesn't matter. We're talking about how safe are EVs in crashes. We're getting there. Now we have a whole bunch of comments. Douglas Dauntless says mostly EV trucks failed the road barrier test. I've heard that one before, that EV trucks failed the road barrier test for some reason. Again, that's what I said. There's a lot. They're testing it in a lot of different ways. So yeah, you have the side, you have the front, you have the rollover, you have the back, you have the barriers, you have the sand pits. I mean, you need to test like everything, right? Everything. And then Douglas also says EVs are too heavy to be stopped by guardrails. Is 5GE newest safety concern? Oh, it's the newest safety concern. So guardrails. Again, that's the thing. So since we're changing like these.
So a Porsche at 250.
So is a Porsche at 250 miles per hour. Yeah, this is a good point. So the thing is, we need to redo some of these safety tests because these vehicles are not the same. So they don't perform the same and they're not going to crash in the same way. For sure. That's for sure. One of the biggest concern, of course, is the battery not exploding. It's a great concern that nobody wants to happen. But again, that was the same concern with ICE vehicles. You don't want this gasoline to start escaping and then the fumes to catch fire, because that's going to make a bomb. Just like a battery. Same but different. I mean, same but different. Then I know some of you have said that, yes, batteries are going to maybe take longer to, stop fire. But you can't just take off a battery fire with literal water. It's a bit like a tire fire. Have you ever seen a tire fire? This thing is like, it burns. It really burns. So you're gonna need some of these special foams and special things that are just for that. And that just means that nowadays, the fire and rescue teams, they need to have these special foamy things to make sure that it works, to make sure that we are okay on the roads. So we are changing everything, and that's why we're doing this podcast, so that people can literally be safer on the roads, and we can have better lives, and everybody can stay happy, healthy, and safe. So what does crash test do? It does structural integrity. So it checks it so that your car stays in a good shape enough, again, just to save your life and the life of all passengers. They don't care about the car. I mean, it doesn't matter if I don't know, just your mirrors are not there anymore. It's not about that. It's really about you being preserved in the car.
Preserved alive, not like a mummy.
No, not like a mummy. Literally preserved alive, so that the search and rescue can come and get you, and then you can still be alive. Walk away from it. So yes, it goes over everything that we talked about. So airbags, seat belts, all of that being put in use, and then the crash test being okay or not okay, which depends. But most vehicles that we have on the roads that are new vehicles have passed a somewhat crash test. Now the levels of passage are all different. What do I mean by that? You can definitely get a car that is more safe than another car. Yeah, you can. They all are rated on all of these things. So you choose your level of safety, and this data is available for you to choose.
You choose where you want to lose.
Exactly, you choose where you want to lose.
Go with the color.
Yeah. Yeah.
Power brake.
Yeah, so I had a friend, not a friend anymore, but the thing is, so they had the choice to choose a color or ABS, which I don't know what it is in English. So it's like when so your tires don't lock when you brake.
Assistant brake.
Yeah,
system.
assistant. Okay, so it's assistant brake system. Most cars have it now. It's included.
She broke her arm.
Exactly. So she chose the color instead of choosing the assistant brake system. And you know what? That summer she broke her arm. Yeah. Because you're gonna brake, and to have this assistance is always better. I mean, you're just adding a layer of security. But no, wanted a different color. So choose the color over the safety. Again, you get what you want in life. You choose. Okay. Teslatino. I think that's a cool play on word. Teslatino. What do you think, Sai? Teslatino? Do you think it's for Tesla?
It's very clever.
Yeah, and then he's like Latino.
Yeah, I saw also Latino, so it works out.
Yeah, it
Good.
works out fine. Teslatino. Tesla uses the skateboard design, which makes the center of gravity very low. Yeah, because the battery is like just like a skateboard. It's like there. It's there. Thank you for telling us that.
And in the
It's
snow,
great.
In the snow, it's not.
It's true. So we took the Tesla Model X, to the places you don't want to take any car to because there's no internet over there. But we took it there and it started snowing and had only summer tires, so no winter tires. But the Tesla Model X is so heavy that we didn't have much problems because it's so heavy. Like the tires would grip on the literal, asphalt. You call that in English? But not much problem. So we didn't skid that much in that sense because it's so heavy. So thank you very much for adding all of this input. If you have information, statistics, anything like that related to how safe are EVs in crashes, make sure you drop it in a comment because, well, we want to share that information with everybody that is going to come and listen to the podcast while you wait for your EV not to crash. Well, you can listen to us and you can actually listen to us in your electric vehicle or in any vehicle because we are on YouTube. So just click that button and listen to us in the podcast format. Do not vision us while you're driving, but if you prefer the visibility of us, this is totally possible. All you have to do is click that video, and you can also share it with a friend right here, right now. There's a little share arrow right down there. You click it, and then, well, it will allow you to copy paste that URL, send it via text message, email, and all of that. Teslatino has 4,400 subscribers. Well, I only have 40. We should all collab together. Yeah, so thank you very much for being in the live. This is great. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. Okay, this is cool. So we can go spy on each other and see what everybody's doing and make like collabs from afar. I mean, we can shout out each other.
All charge at the same station.
We can all charge at the supercharger station together and make a video. So definitely write us more things, Teslatino. Okay, and Electric Brian too. I mean, Electric Brian too.
We need to charge.
We need to charge. We need to supercharge all together. Let's supercharge together. It's super easy to make friends in the electric vehicle community. Okay, this leads us to point 2, the anatomy of the vehicles. I mean, we talked about it a little bit. So anatomy of electric vehicles is different than the anatomy of the literal gas vehicles, which Teslatino said is like a skateboard design. Douglas Dauntless, torque vectoring makes some EVs safer on ice. Ooh, interesting. Very interesting. Meaning,
For California.
perfect for California, right? Definitely perfect for California.
Perfect for California.
So the anatomy of the whole thing makes it so that yes, some electric vehicles are, well, they're newer designs, right? Electric vehicles are newer. They've been here less long than all of the other ICE vehicles out there, meaning that, well, a company like Tesla kind of took it from the start. I mean, I don't say they didn't get inspired by some of the other gas vehicles out there, but they took it to the drawing board, making it so that they changed things. Even the Tesla at the beginning, like the first Model S, everybody was saying that it was so safe because of its aluminum chassis and that it was performing great in all of these safety tests. So that's the thing. If you have like all you want to put money on is that safety and for people to be confident in it, well, that makes a lot of sense.
He needed to have the confidence of the people.
Exactly.
It's safe.
Exactly. You need to have the confidence of the people. the confiance. So he needed people to trust him. So, and it was a new car company, and again, it was a new car company like that was started from nothing.
He knew that people would bitch about it.
Of course, he knew that people would
That's
bitch about it.
why we'll go security.
Yeah, so he went security. I guessed Elon Musk went security so that he was sure that people would be like, oh, like, and all these crash tests that the Tesla passed was like amazing at the beginning. It was like, whoa, it's performing so well. Because as a new brand, you need to build trust. That's the most important thing. And well, this trust kind of came with all of that. Plus, still, we're in 2024, so we're like 15 years later, and people still think that an EV is going to explode in your face.
So I have a question.
Yeah?
You mentioned that EVs are really heavy, right?
Yeah.
Heavier than a gasoline car.
Yeah.
Well, that's most EVs, yeah. Because the
But do you
battery
feel
weighs
it as
so
a
much.
driver? Do you feel the difference, or do you require more effort to drive, or
No,
whatever?
It's
No.
not effort. You feel that it's more stable.
Exactly.
So it comes across as more stable. You
More
feel more
stable.
Okay.
So you're not losing in speed because of the instant torque. But if you get a patch of ice or if you drive in snow or in water, you feel that it grips to the road better. But that's-
Without the winter tires.
Without the winter tires. But that's
Oh.
like that with any vehicle. So if you have like a normal gasoline vehicle, let's say, and you want to drive like better, let's call it like that, you could put like sandbags in your trunk.
Oh, so
Like-
give it that more stability.
Exactly.
Oh,
So
I see.
the heavier it is, the better. For some
Oh.
things, not you don't go faster if it's heavier, but you grip on the road better.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you learn something new every day.
Every day, especially while you wait for your electric vehicle to charge. You learn even more. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you for giving us these awesome, like super interesting questions, and for Sai to be here and give us more questions. So that's the thing. The anatomy of the vehicle makes it safer or not. Like we said, an SUV might roll over more easily. A small car like the Smart, well, it's not safe. It just is so small that yeah, if you run over it, I mean, it's like it has not that many chances, right? It's tiny. It's tiny, tiny, tiny. You don't even have like an actual engine to stop the collision. Like you have nothing there. It's nothing.
Strong chassis.
So you need a stronger chassis. You need a stronger cage. And like there's this story that like Volvo had like the best cages ever, right? They were like super super intense. So these car companies that were deemed as safe. I mean, Volvo was one of them. I think Subaru was pretty close. Rolls-Royce is definitely one of like the most secure car. So these are things that passed the test, but passed it so well that people just trusted to have their families into it. And Volvo being one of the car companies that was always more aimed to family, well, kind of did that right. I mean, I don't know for the other people out there, but which brand do you actually trust? Which brand of car, EV, non-EV, do you trust is the safest? Like with all the data that you have and everything you've seen on the internet, because how safe are EVs in crashes? That's what we're getting at. But before we get there, I mean, we need to tease you a little bit. We need to get all of that data. Now, Douglas Dauntless says battery weigh, charge time, and longevity are biggest problem with EV. Okay, yeah. Yep.
Do we have a dad joke today?
Yeah, at the end we have a dad joke.
Okay.
Yeah, I always have a dad joke. We have a dad joke. You need to stay until the end because the dad joke is going to be priceless.
We need to advertise that.
Yeah, we always need to advertise the dad joke. Okay, so what you're saying, Douglas, is like battery weight, charge time, and longevity are the biggest problem with EV. Yeah, it has nothing to do with crashes, right? But some people think they're gonna explode. They still think that. So we thought that by doing how safe are EVs in crashes, we would either reassure some people or just like stop the misinformation. Because of course, if you go on the internet and you look for EVs that explode, you will find only that. But the truth is, from everything we've been seeing in the stats and data, right side, like all of that, most of this is not 100% true. Most of these data and these things is not true. EVs don't catch fire as much as other vehicles. Maybe it's just because they're newer. So the tests and the things that people do on them will make it so that they don't catch fire. Like even all newer vehicles, all new vehicles, should not be able to catch fire. That's in my book, but I don't know. Maybe I don't know. So the placement of everything in an electric vehicle is completely different. So they had to rethink the whole safety thing with the electric vehicle, because you're dealing with a battery. Like we said, you're not dealing with a motor. You're not dealing with a front motor. Yes, they are heavier, as everybody has told you already. And the thing is, well, since they're newer, they needed to, well, make it so that everything was new. So there is kind of an engineering superpower cool thing with EVs. They're so young compared to other vehicles that everything had to go back to the drawing board, like I said. So they use materials that maybe were not there a few years ago. And they have to with the battery to make sure that, yes, it charges better. They have to make sure that the weight is okay, because it's a bit like gasoline. I mean, you are carrying that battery with you. You're carrying it with you. So the car has to be big enough so that you can kind of go somewhere, but at the same time, you need to carry the battery. So you don't want to drain the battery just with the weight of the car. Yes and no. You still want to get to where you want to get without draining all of that. So that was like a whole bunch of, engineering and physics problems that we had. And that's why back in the day, EVs were not a thing, because the battery power and the technology was not there, meaning that the car was so heavy that you could do too little with that battery. And with a good battery, stopping distance is affected by weight. That's true. So if you've ever rented a U-Haul, which you might have, when your U-Haul is empty, it's not so bad. But when you fill it up and you want to stop. You want to stop at like a stop signal or at a red light. Your reaction time needs to be adjusted to that. Because if you're carrying more weight, it takes longer, but when it hits. Like it's really weird. So that's the thing with the heavier you are. And that's why like these big vans in the highway, like often, they have like compressor brakes and all that. We won't go there. But the thing is, you need to know when to brake a lot in advance, because you're pulling all that weight. So the stopping is going to take longer than if you had something smaller. Something smaller is going to take less time to brake. It's physics, right? You're pushing, pulling.
The road when we came back from Kamloops, runaway. Right?
Yeah, the runway lane. And that's why there's like runway lanes for trucks, and there's things like that, because if you're pulling all this weight, you need to stop it too. So you need to have a strong enough like engine, I guess. We're not saying reverse necessarily, but a little bit, to be able to stop that from continuing, because you gave it all this active energy. Like it's all there, it's in there. So to stop it, you need to counter effect that energy. Oh, so cool. Physics! I'm Piper. This is
Sai.
And we are here on the podcast while you wait for your electric vehicle to charge. We're bringing you electric vehicle entertainment and super awesome facts. We're talking about how safe are EVs in crashes. Bacardi Bob says, I trust my old Lincoln Town car in a crash. Gas and no airbags. Wow. I don't know how you can trust that Bacardi Bob.
Yeah.
Because
what does trust mean to you?
Define trust, right?
Yeah, define trust.
Define trust, because so far in our poll, do you believe that 50s cars are safer than 2024 cars? Let's end the poll. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3, go. I just swallowed my saliva. We got 77% of people say no. 50s cars.
Yeah, more faith in humanity now.
No, you have more faith in humanity now, right? Because 50s cars, are they safer than 2024 cars? Okay, so that's the year of the car, make and model, let's call it like that. Some people did say that was like a huge myth and a huge like urban legend that older vehicles were safer because they were bigger and they were better built, or built with like thicker metals and things like that. But that has been completely disproven. There was no airbags, there was no seat rest. Even like sometimes there's nothing to hold your head. Well, what happens? Your neck breaks. Super easy. So when you have something to like behind your head, usually it stops your head and then it doesn't break. It's that easy. So that's the thing. Like some of these implementations have been made not in the 1950s. And then yes, these cars were huge. They were like literally like a Buick, a Cadillac, a Lincoln. Those cars were huge, like huge. But that didn't mean they were safer. It just meant that they were bigger. So yes, the time that that you get hit and that hit gets to you could seem like it's not that quick. But it's not true, because the way they were built and the metals that they used were not as structurally integrity. So they did not have the same structural integrity than the cages that we build right now for our newer cars. I mean, a smart car is safer than a 1950s car, because we upgrade people, we upgrade. We make sure that our people are okay. And I mean, what would that say about humanity if we didn't evolve and like create new materials and created new safety features? Even the first airbags were not that great. The airbags now are better. Now you have airbags indoors. Before you only had like 2 airbags, like one in the steering wheel and like one on that other like passenger seat near the dashboard. But not now. Carl says my brother-in-law had his ton car cut in half at an intersection. Exactly. They are not safe. It's an urban legend. It's a myth. It's a myth. It is all but a myth, people. So be made aware that older vehicles are not safer. Newer vehicles are definitely safer. And when I say newer, I'm not saying that like you built a car in your garage. We're talking like you go buy a newer vehicle, a 2024 vehicle. We have these new safety features that we need to abide by, and they are better. They are like super better. So let's go to number 3, real-world crash tests. Yes, how safe are EVs in crash tests? So far from what Sai has told us, is that, well, they are like less likely to catch fire. Like EVs are just less likely to catch fire. They don't catch fire that easily. At least not as easily as gasoline vehicles or hybrids. Why do we say hybrids? Because hybrids have a gas engine in them. An hybrid has both. So it has the battery and the gas engine. And from a stats, like in the data that we figured out in a previous podcast, EVs were actually better at flaming than gas and then, well, EVs. So that gives you a lot. So right now, how safe are EVs in crashes? Sai, do we have like real world crash test on EVs? Can we take like the Tesla Model X and see like, I don't know, how bad it is, how good it is, or do you have other stuff?
It's very controversial, I have to say.
Of course, it's the internet.
Yeah.
There's no way we're going to get an easy answer.
There isn't one, because most of them are not going in favor of EV crash tests. So, but Tesla did compare the crash and the safety features before autopilot and with autopilot.
Oh, that's interesting.
And with autopilot, it was much safer.
Much safer.
Yeah, much safer.
So just see, you have it, and that's a safety feature, right?
Yeah, Tesla does a lot of like studies and tests and to see. It's like, so yeah, I trust Tesla.
Well, every car company does their own test, which makes sense because they want to know first, and then, well, they have to do the same tests as everybody else to get on these roads that we have. But that being said, I mean, you have to do these tests. Once you've done them, well, you can say to people, "Yay, do you trust us? I mean, we have done great tests with our vehicles. Here's what it's all about." And the FSD, or full self-drive, or even self-drive, like we said, does have these features that, I mean, evade the crash, because that's what you want. Realistically, are EVs safer in crashes? Well, that's you don't want to crash. The crash is the worst thing that could happen. So you want to try to make everything you can to not crash. So meaning like the best offense is defense. Get me? This is exactly where we were going with this. So how safe are EVs in crashes? Well, EVs in general have this super cool technology to them. So most of them, again, I'm not saying all of them, but most of them has super intense software, there's newer software that makes them, not all of them full self-drive, but that have self-driving. Yeah, you got some? Yeah, give me some. Give me some.
So, so in the claims that this is by an insurance company, the claims that were filed that included injury in a car accident, stuff, liability and all of that, collisions, they were 40% lower for EVs than gas car.
That's a big statistic, like 40% lower. So insurance company, did a thing where is 40% lower for electric vehicles, and that's like the claims on them being hurt, right, Sai? So they had
claims
to get hurt.
Like collision, car-related injuries. Yeah,
car-related injuries. So 40% less if you own an electric vehicle. Imagine that. Again, there's many reasons why that could be. And let's dissect it right here, right now, because you weren't injured anyway, so we're good. So the thing is, well, you have all of these like newer features. So you have self-driving capabilities, which makes it so that, well, the car drives a little bit for you. Yeah, in that way. So it's gonna brake for you, it's gonna flash, it's gonna tell you beep, 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 if you're close to a wall or something. I mean, it's gonna add this kind of layer of security. Then, when or if you do get in a real crash, if you hit something, someone, or whatever, well, it's a newer vehicle. Well, yeah, because we don't know. Some people say they hit some weird things out there. When you do literally get into that crash, when you're in the crash, well, newer vehicles have, yes, airbags. You need to wear your seatbelt. But all of these airbags, the way they are, the way they deploy, even the way that some vehicles will call the police for you, or like the emergency response team, they will call it for you. You don't even need to call. If your car crashes, it's just gonna call automatically. I mean, that makes it so that there's people faster there on the scene. And these are features, again, EVs are newer vehicles. Even if you take an EV that is 10 years old, which is like the beginning of EVs, like 10 to 15 years old, there are gas vehicles that are like 20 years old on the road right now. There's some of them that are 30 years old, even especially in British Columbia. Because we don't have that much snow in Vancouver area. Like the rest of British Columbia, there's snow, so it's like in Quebec. But there's so little snow that vehicles last longer. Have you been to Cuba? I mean, they still have all these Lincolns and things like that, like really, really old. That being said, since EVs are just more recent, they have more safety features and they are more safe because they're more recent. If you grab your 1990s, I don't know, Ford, it's not as safe. It's just like that. So if you get in a crash, it's not as safe. I'm not saying that your 2024 Ford is not that safe. But with the vehicles that we have on the road right now, if all the vehicles we had on the road, if all of them would be like 10 years or younger, yeah, that's what we're calling vehicles, people. We're not talking people. Well, that would be safer for everybody. Like, it would literally be safer for everybody. And that is why when you have a vehicle that starts to get old, usually you have to have it inspected by the insurance company to get your licenses and things like that, because they don't want vehicles on the roads that could pose a threat to you and to other people on the road. That's why we have these safety features. So ideally, everybody would drive new cars all the time. But then you're like, Greta, where's Greta? Yeah, Greta will freak out because it's too much like pollution and things like that, right? To create new vehicles. But what if in like a perfect world we were able to recycle everything and get like the greatest vehicles ever?
And if your car's still good.
Yeah, if your car's still good. It's still good.
You didn't have any accident.
Then you didn't have any accident, you won't change it. But still, a newer car is always safer. A newer car is always safer because we've learned from our mistakes. So like somebody literally like hit somebody with that car, and now we know. This is what an older car is. So Buzz Lightyear says car manufacturers made improvements over the years by learning by mistakes. Exactly. That's exactly it, Buzz Lightyear. And then Douglas Dauntless says my 1970 Bronco isn't as safe, but it's way cooler.
I have to agree.
Yeah,
I have to agree.
the design is cool.
Everything's cool.
Everything's cool about the Bronco,
secure.
but they did do the new Bronco, right? I'm sure you've seen it, Douglas. So there's one model that I don't like. It looks a bit too much like one of these like Defender Jeeps. But then there's one model of the newer Bronco, like the one that looks a bit more like the older one, which is more like boxy. That one's nice. Like that one's really nice. So this is cool to have like a newer Bronco on the road because yes, the older models not safe at all, and anything older is not safe. This is the truth. It's just the truth.
They didn't have the top.
Yeah, they didn't even have a top, huh?
Like a bucket.
Yeah, it was a bucket seat. So no top for your head, so you could definitely just break your neck whenever you felt like it. Just press that pedal. I mean, this is that easy. And then all the engineering that like went into these vehicles, again, it's true. So real world crash test. I mean, if you were in an accident with a newer vehicle, maybe we just hear less about it because you survived and the other person survived. Again, the thing is to never get to that point where you are crashing. We want to not be there. We want to not crash. And with FSD, like full self-drive, and all of these other layers of AI and cameras and sensors and radars that we're implementing into vehicles right now, there's a good chance that most of these accidents are going to be able to be evaded. Because I'm sure you can find a stat on this, because you kind of did already, but like the FSD does lower accidents. Like it's been proven that having full self-drive.
So that is proven, but I think the only problem is, since we don't have it's all tested, right? It's all testing. So yeah, that's Tesla found that FSD would cause even less, because it will think for you, right? So it will make the right decision every time. The only thing is that it hasn't been like, there's not enough
accidents
FSDs
on the road.
Yeah.
Not enough years.
Not enough years.
Yeah, and not enough.
Yeah.
So you can't really compare it yet.
Yeah. Because it's too new. The FSD just came out, like not even a year ago, like not even a few months ago. So meaning that like they have some data because they tested it before, but now we need real life testing. Meaning it's gonna take a while to get these data. Like, do people really crash? And when they were in the crash, were they on FSD or not? Or were they on just self-drive, not full self-drive, but did they have these capabilities? Yeah, were they drunk and had FSD and did not crash? Then we'll never know. Because if you are not into an accident, there's no way to investigate. You won't investigate anything. So maybe, just maybe, we'll get these stats very soon. Like all of the accidents that are gonna happen in the next few years. Well, what was the cause of them, and how did they happen? So was the person drunk? Were they using some type of technology to help them drive?
It's gonna be recorded anyway with the
Yes.
lockdown. So if you're drunk, you're gonna know it, and you're gonna get punished.
Exactly. Everything is recorded with the little camera. So in Teslas, there's a camera when you use FSD. So it's there because it wants to make sure that you are respecting the FSD laws. And 5 strikes and you're out of the FSD, even though you paid for it. KV, hey, nice to see you. Not only are today's cars safer, but the crash tests have gotten substantially harder. Oh, I like this type of
That's
emphasis. Over the decades.
They want to protect you.
Yeah, they want to protect you more. So yeah, this makes sense. So today's cars, especially EVs, are incredibly safe compared to even 10-year-old cars.
Yes.
Again, it makes sense that like the stronger you get, the stronger the test gets. So it's like going to the Olympics. At the first year, you're in junior. You're doing competitions with other kids. Then at one point you get to the Olympics. So the test is worst in that sense, but you are better too. Like it can get to that test. KV adds, most car design is done with simulations now. We didn't even do that decades ago. Yeah, so I've seen, that's what I was saying at the beginning of this podcast. I've seen some like crash tests that don't look like real tests. It's really only a simulator. Because with a computer, which is just counting, like a computer is only mathematical formulas. Well, you can kind of get a really good, like a good idea. It's a bit like the holodeck on Star Trek, You would simulate everything, and then you would go in real life operations and see if it works or not. I mean, there's always this little sliver of possible mistake or possible might happen or might not happen. You're never 100% and you're never 0%. But in that sense, I mean, you can still tell that, all of the data we collected, all the computers, and now even the AIs are making it so if we use them correctly, it's going to be safer because they will analyze all of the possibilities for us and give us like an outcome that we want, which is not to crash in that sense. Chemist America Lifestyle. Hey, thanks for tuning in and being here.
He doesn't know it started at noon. That's why he's late.
Oh, yeah, it does start at noon, 12 p.m. Vancouver time, every single day from Monday to Friday. Yeah. So 12 p.m. Vancouver time, that's depends on if it's like daylight saving and something like that. But just so you know, Google 12 p.m. Pacific time or like Vancouver time and check where and when that is for you in your time frame. And don't be late so that we can like really talk to everybody about everything. This is the best thing. Plus we have a dad joke coming up real soon, so you don't want to miss that.
We need to advertise that.
We are advertising it right now. So number 4, Mythbusting. So there's like this thing that we talked about in out through the podcast, and that was like battery fires. So far, what we've discovered is that are EVs safer in crashes than other vehicles? Yes, so far they are. They're just because they're newer. So they pass all these tests that are more recent tests, so they are safer. Then after that, like if you are in a crash, does the battery automatically explode? No, it doesn't, because it couldn't be on the road if it did that. This just couldn't. And then when it does catch fire, that's another deal. When it does catch fire, I mean, it's a different type of chemical, right? It's not like gasoline, so it's a different element. Meaning that to take the fire out, it's different. And if people are not yet prepared for that type of fire, you know, when you work as a fireman, I don't know, I'm not a fireman, but I've worked with firemen for 3 months. Yeah, volunteer work, yo. Well, the thing is...
For the calendar.
For the calendar? Oh, no, I wasn't aware of the calendar. Nope. There was not that type of fireman. There was like normal, real-life firemen. Real people. I mean, I would put them in the calendar, just saying that, like, maybe gay populations aren't into that. So that's the thing.
They were gay?
No, but I'm saying the gays were maybe not into that. I mean, they weren't bears, but they weren't, like, muscular.
They weren't like the typical stereotype fire
No,
person.
they're just, like,
regular people?
regular dads that want to save the world by being firefighters.
Oh, good for them.
You know, with mustaches and all that.
Good for them.
Yeah, like real people. Real good people. So that's the thing. No calendar for you. The thing is, so there is different types of fires, and different types of fires require different types of anti-fire fighting. So either a special type of foam, either water. I mean, so there was all these things. So a chemical fire, you don't turn it off with the same thing as you would like a regular fire.
Like water and oil.
Like water and oil. You don't put water on oil. So if ever you have a fire and it's oil, you just don't put, you put like baking soda. You put like anything but water. Just put powder. And you got powder, put powder on it. Like, you want to stop, yes, oxygen from getting there, because any fire you want to stop oxygen. But to stop oxygen, there's more than water than you can use. You can use some foam. And this is like this special foam. So special foam. That being said, now that EVs are on the road and they're everywhere, like there's a lot of them in Vancouver, British Columbia, well, we just have to have like our fire trucks, have this foam on them. Because when I worked at the fire station thing, they had, well, the fire trucks, and the fire trucks had foam in them. Now, not all of them. There's different types of fire trucks. There was one fire truck that was for like airport fire. There's one fire truck that was more like for wildfires. And there's another fire truck that had a little bit of everything. So like house fires. So they activate these like pumps on the fire hydrant hose thing on the fire truck, and then, well, it pushes this kind of soap, which is the foam, into the water and mixes it together to create whatever that needs to be. So this look up for EV for blanket. What do you mean? Oh, a fire blanket for EVs. Well, I mean, it's a thing. I'm sure it's a thing. Like, you need to have a blanket for most fires, because the thing is, you need to cut oxygen. The problem with oil is that water and oil don't mix, so it just like explodes a lot.
Because it creates oxygen when it explodes.
Yeah.
And fire loves.
But exactly, because water, so it does electrolysis pretty much. So it's so hot that the water becomes O2 and
Excuse me.
H2, yeah, no problem. H2O. So it becomes like hydrogen and oxygen. Literally, that's what water is. So this create more of an explosion. Did you look up fire blanket?
Yeah, there's a fire blanket that uses a lithium fire blanket.
Oh, so it's just for your batteries.
It will safely isolate a lithium fire battery.
Maybe
Oh.
for the little battery, not for
Yeah, probably like for your literal like iPhone or something. Maybe they have those on planes, you know, because everybody has like lithium batteries on planes because of like iPhones and everything else. That make a lot of sense. I don't understand the plane thing either.
No, it's huge. It's not for her phone.
No, it's huge. You can
Yeah.
put it on a car. How much
It's
does
like
it cost?
60 pounds.
60 pounds. That's heavy. That's heavier than like you, right? Yeah.
I hope not.
This is okay. Battery fires. So that's the thing. We are advancing the technology in batteries so that, yes, they don't take fire. And if they do take fire, well, we have a solution. So the thing is, nobody wants the EV to catch fire. I mean, they don't want that. We don't want to kill people. That's the whole point. So how safe are EVs in crashes? The more the technology is coming and the more like encapsulated it is, the more engineers are working towards if the EV does crash or if there is a malfunction, this battery leakage or this like chemicals that are in the battery will be isolated so it doesn't lead to fire or lead to anything else. KV says they have big enough to wrap a whole car, no water needed. So see, that's just a new thing. So maybe like these fire departments need to have that now, which they didn't before because we didn't have electric vehicles. It was not a problem.
But
It's
the
just not a
normal
problem.
fire blanket would work for the EV car as well. Yeah, it says that it
Just needs to be big.
It just
yeah,
needs to be
it
big.
just needs to be big.
Because you just need to stop that oxygen. So you just need to throw something on it that stops the oxygen from penetrating that heat and that fire. It's like super easy, right? So this is no water needed. Yeah, no water needed. Now, that being said, it means that like what is going to happen in the future? So what are we gonna get to? Because the thing is, we have now FSD, so full self-drive, and that's happening with Tesla models, but it's also happening on other models. Mercedes made one that you don't even need to like drive, and there's gonna be a lot more. So all of the cars will have that. Even the gas vehicles will have full self-drive. It's coming. Full self-drive is coming, people. It's coming.
It's not just electric.
No, it's not just electric. It's going to be everywhere, which will impact a lot the way we drive, but it will also impact the safety of our roads and the traffic. That being said, when you have such an AI in a vehicle, we are talking about vehicle to vehicle. What do we mean by vehicle to vehicle? So vehicle to vehicle communication. It's called V2V. Meaning that with these AIs in our cars that are already driving by themselves, like autonomously, they could communicate to each other. Meaning they're not going to hit each other because they talk to each other already. So if they sense that the other car is braking, it's not only going to sense it because it's going to see it with their cameras, maybe like with Bluetooth or I don't know what, it communicates with all the cars around it, and then it knows the speed of the other cars. It needs exactly what the other cars are doing. So you kind of move in a way that all the cars are moving simultaneously in a sort of like Swan Lake dance. Yeah.
Okay, I got this idea. If you don't have FSD in your car, you can buy Optimus, the robot, put it there, and it's gonna act like a human, and it's gonna drive itself.
What? Okay, yeah. If you don't have FSD in your vehicle, it's okay. I mean, Tesla. Not everybody has a Tesla and all that. But you can buy Optimus. That's Tesla's robot. It's a humanoid robot, and probably maybe it can drive for you. So instead of having FSD, you just buy the robot, put the robot in the driver's seat, and then the robot drives. I mean, it's kind of like FSD.
It's the same.
It's the same thing. It's FSD, but in real life instead of FSD in the car. So you can touch the FSD instead of not touching the FSD.
And he can scream at people.
He can scream. Oh yeah, he even goes. Yeah, road rage with Optimus or the robot.
Road rage.
That being said, we are going in a world where probably we won't even be driving. So crashes are going to be reduced because the cars are going to be talking to each other, and traffic should not be a thing.
But
and
what about the trucks?
What trucks?
The big trucks that carry like stuff.
Exactly.
Same thing.
Same thing.
They will be EV as well.
Of course.
Oh yeah.
Everything's going to be
What's the
EV.
difference?
Yeah, they have to be EV.
Everything has
Everything has to be EV now.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why this channel. 2 girls, 1 electric car. Sai, you have a dad joke, right?
Yes.
You have a dad joke?
Yes.
Okay, are you guys ready for the dad joke? I mean, are you ready? Are you really ready for the dad joke? Do you really want it? You need to act like you want it. Because Douglas Downless says, firefighting foam chemicals get into the groundwater. Unfortunately, blankets are a better solution. Yeah, so they don't contaminate as much. This makes sense, but again, a fire is a fire, so it's gonna like contaminate. Even gasoline contaminates. After you've had like a literal like gasoline pump, you have to like decontaminate the soil before you can put a house there or anything else.
And
Yeah.
you want to stop forest fire.
You know how to stop forest fire?
Big blanket.
Giant
blanket.
blanket.
Big blanket.
Helicopter,
Big blanket.
you know?
We just put a big blanket all over BC. This is super easy. Super easy. Yeah. So how safe are EVs in crashes? So far, from everything we've said, I think EVs are pretty safe. If you take into account everything. If you don't agree, well, please do continue to fight in the comment section. We would love to know. We'd love to know. Sai, dad joke. You're up.
Okay. Why did the Tesla break up with his girlfriend?
Oh, why did the Tesla break up with this girlfriend? Were they not attracted to each other?
No.
No. There wasn't enough of a connection?
No.
No? Voltage was not great?
No.
Okay, I don't know.
Those are good answers, by
These
the
good
way.
answers?
Because she couldn't handle his electric personality.
Definitely could not handle his electric personality. Oh, that's too bad. So they broke up.
So they broke up.
They broke up.
Yeah, they broke up.
It was too electrifying.
Too electrifying for
So
her.
far, we can handle each other pretty well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we're not like them.
No.
High five.
Whoa.
Great.
It's an electric high five.
It's an electric high five. If you want more dad jokes, well, make sure you're here at 12 p.m. Vancouver time every day. That's from Monday to Friday. Yeah. Because Sai needs to have a break sometime. I mean, she's a human being. For those of you who think she's an AI, no. She
Yeah,
has weekends
so
off.
far.
She has weekends off. Will Garcia once says, have you seen the old anime X Driver? It's based on a world where one drives. It's automated. Oh, no one drives. No, I haven't seen it. This is interesting. We're gonna do some research on that. I mean, there are a few movies out there which do, like, kind of make it so people don't drive. Like, even Fifth Element, people were driving, but it's kind of, you just get in the car. Yeah, or iRobot, right? iRobot, people really don't drive.
Disconnected, and it's just like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna drive now.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to do that.
You are not supposed to disconnect and drive. Would you use teleporter like on Star Trek? This is a very philosophical question, because maybe you won't be the same person after it disintegrates you and reintegrates you in that sense. So I am unsure if I would use it. If this technology becomes a thing, I will not be the first person to use it. That's all I have to say. I'm not gonna be the guinea pig for that one. I would not feel great. What do you think about teleporting, Sai? Would you try teleporting?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, Sai's all up for it. I mean, she's scared of fires, but you can disintegrate her and reintegrate her. She's gonna be okay with that.
She's fine with it.
She's fine with it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Where would you teleport to? Like right now?
I don't know, just far away.
Okay, anywhere.
Anywhere.
Anywhere far.
So
The furthest
anywhere
from
far.
here. So we go like half her Earth. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Piper, and this is
Sai.
And we are here from Monday to Friday at 12 p.m. to talk about electric vehicles, entertain you, bring your friends, your family, EV-haters. And I'm not talking about the Ray-Ban glasses. I'm talking about haters, like people who hate electric vehicles, so that we can have an actual talk and discuss about how safe are electric vehicles in crashes, or any other subject you want to talk about. Drop it in the comment. Yeah, because we do read all of them. And then we make awesome podcasts out of it. Super cool. So EVs are not at teleporting yet. They're not that.